Hey everyone, it's Plushie, and today it's a little special video because I'm gonna show you a bunch of money tricks. But what I'm hoping for after this video is that you'll get to learn how to make money by yourself in future, because most of the tricks I'm gonna show you may end up dying after this video. So what I'm hoping for is that after this video you get to do it by yourself. That in future patches you're like, oh yeah, I can make money out of that. Now obviously I don't always have a lot of money. Here I have 70 millions, which I totally made by my hard labor. Okay, I'm kidding, I got it gifted by someone who left the game. I'm gonna start with a few tricks that are always available at any time since a lot of years, so those are pretty stable, you might always be able to rely on it. This one is silly yet extremely underrated. If you do your roulettes every day, you'll get a bunch of experience and GILS. But if you do it in a needed role, so like tank or healer most of the time, and if you have to level up your class at the same time, it's even better, you'll get twice as much GILS and you'll get experience, so it's like you're playing the game and you're getting paid, and over time you're gonna make millions of GILS just out of that. It's literally dumb, but nobody pays attention to it. You can just do leveling roulette and trial roulette once a day. Another reliable money trick is the treasure hunt maps. It's always been out since a bunch of years, and every new expansion they release more. All you have to do is to bring your own map, make a party or join one, and going through all the maps, sometimes, if you're lucky, portals will open, and when you go in the portals, you'll enter a mini dungeon with your party where you're gonna make GILS. You're gonna generate GILS. It's not GILS that existed before, it's GILS that you're gonna create in that dungeon. The deeper you go, the more money you'll make. And you may be able to loot some resources that are extremely valuable and you can sell it for a lot of GILS. Also, depending on your server, if you don't want to do the maps, you can gather it once a day, every 18 hours each, and sell it in the market, but sometimes the newer ones are not so expensive, so you want to go on the other ones which are not sold as often, and it's still a good amount of money that you can make just by a very small effort. If you take for example one of the most popular glams lately, which is a casual jacket, a few weeks ago in my server it was selling for 300,000 GILS. And what I found out is that you get it from the casual attire, and the casual attire is something you loot readily from the Coupe of Fortune, or by buying it from the market for 300,000. So when I opened it, I found out that the jacket was selling for 300,000, the pants for almost nothing, and the boots for 200,000. So that was one way for me to make 200,000 GILS profits a few times by doing no efforts at all. And that's something you can do just by studying the market. There's some slightly grindy way to make money, but it's not as efficient. One, for example, is the Skybuilders items, which you can get by either crafting and turning it in for scripts, or by doing gathering, which is a great way to level up your gatherers in this game, and then you're gonna get a bunch of scripts out of that, which you'll eventually be able to trade for items, like glams, emotes, paints, things like that, that you can sell pretty easily in the market, which is a great way to make some decent money, but I don't recommend it as a general way to make money. Also, be careful, I've been giving a bunch of tricks, but you have to keep in mind that you don't want to spam the market with the same item massively, because what's gonna happen is that it's gonna drop in price with everybody trying to undercut you, because you've put a lot, and eventually you're gonna actually lose your money by spamming. So what I would recommend you to do is to put a few at once, like maybe even one here and there, rather than sell a huge stock and then you're gonna find yourself with a bunch of items that are not sold, or you're gonna sell it for very cheap. Every new patches the game adds a bunch of items, or at least most of the time. And with these new items, usually it's housing items or things like that, which sells very quick and very well at the very beginning. So I would recommend you to pay attention to the patch notes, see if there's new housing items and if you can craft it. And if you can craft it, you try to do it and sell it in the market. But if you see that the price is dropping drastically quickly, you can sell the materials instead, which people won't really fight to sell. Speaking of new patches, it's kind of silly, but you have to also think about holidays. Sometimes you can make a lot of money out of that. Like during Valentine, there was a hot cakes selling for 300,000 GILS each. I don't remember how you get that, but if you manage to get a bunch of items during a holiday, it's likely going to sell for a lot of money because everyone wants to get it. Another way to make great money is through the Grand Company's dailies, which is a few items that are generated every day for you to turn in and get a bunch of experience in classes. But a lot of people, especially during early expansions, will want to rush their classes levels by turning in. So if you look up the list of items that even are just suggested to you, you craft it, you sell it, and you're likely going to make profits because in early expansion a lot of people buy and not many people craft. Speaking of, you can craft and sell the highest high level crafter and gatherer gears because it always sells when it's the highest high level because everyone wants it, and if you don't want to struggle on it, you can just make the jewels because usually it's easy, at least when I did it in Stormblood. So it shouldn't be too costly and it should make you a decent amount of gills. There's also a bunch of items that are used every day which would sell decently, which is like raiding food, raiding potion, but also flame or prism, dyes, which usually you can get for not so much from the merchants, or you can also get it by crafting it yourself. And by selling it, then you'll make a little bit of margin. And there's also items you can get from the Grand Company seals, which is like coke, which is used massively for free companies. There's even more ways, like if you do the fates in Shadowbringers and in Endwalker, you can get a bunch of gems which you can trade for resources, and sometimes some of them will sell decently, and thanks to Opera Morgana, which reminded me about that. Even with Tomestones, sometimes there's material that sells for a lot, like during Shadowbringers there's like 4 resources, like the Horsetail, which was selling for 100,000 gills the 99, which was a good amount of money, just by spending 2,000 Tomestones that I was not using anyway. Now the last advice I can give, because I'm starting to run dry with ideas and I can't think of anything else, but I know I had others but I can't remember which. During early expansion release, people want to get the best gear and the best materials and things like that. So if you join a hunting link shell and do the hunting trains on the new expansion, you'll be getting some clusters which will give you a guaranteed highest level materia currently, which usually you want to get the crit one because every classes use it almost, and it sells for a lot, especially early in the expansion. So if you farm hunts, you're gonna make a bunch of gills just out of that, and there's also during the new patches. The big patches, people want to update their gear, so they are gonna need a bunch of materials again, but it's not as valuable as if you had the materials early in the expansion. You can also pile up a bunch of materials at the end of an expansion, and when the new expansion comes out, what you can do is to go to the Western Tanalan, go to the Goblin, and you can merge the materials, and if you're lucky you're gonna get a rank higher, which if you sell the materials as early as possible, you're gonna have a very high price to sell it for. And especially if you sell it for crafters and gatherers, I can remember selling for like 300,000 gills, just one material, so it's a bit of luck, but it's also recycling materials that you didn't use because you didn't need it or that you sold massively. This is all for this video. I hope it will help you grow a mindset on how to make money right now and future. And if it did, I would really appreciate a like, a comment, a subscription to help my channel grow. But you also can share this video to someone you think would be interested in it. And you can also click on the playlist that shows up if you want to watch more videos from me. And there's also my Twitter that you can follow at iamPlushie. And with that said, I hope you have a great day. See you, bye.